Okay guys, it's been a couple days and the paint is now nice and fully cured. Very hard. I actually um, dropped this part as I was moving it around, and I don't know if it just landed the right way, but I'm impressed. No scratches. So obviously the finish isn't show quality, and there's certainly orange peel, but remember we didn't really sand everything. So I'm very happy with the level of perceived durability. So time to start assembly. We're going to start on the motor, brake, gear assembly, and then we're going to put everything together. So starting with the motor, remember we didn't take, or I didn't take the brushes out. In order to reassemble the motor, you need to have the brushes out of the way, and from the inside I just push the brush out and hold it in place with a binder clip. That way I can put the motor in. On the inside of the motor housing, the coils are held in place by the I don't know if those are called armatures or if the big metal weights, or they're not weights, they're just more mass, I guess, for the coils. And you can tell F1 and F2, you can't really install it incorrectly or backwards. Okay, so in order to install it, you have to put this part in first, like so, and then assemble the top of the motor housing, this part, on it. So I'm going to try to do it and not really pay attention to the camera. So I'll bring you back when it's 100%. I'm going to do the gear housing first. So gear housing, this section here you want to keep dry or just very lightly greased, but everything I read says don't over grease, because that section, this is what your free spool tension really is dictated by. So this large gear rides in there and it causes it to, as you spin it, that's your freewheel. Now, this is not symmetric. You see this ring here. More importantly, so let me see, orientation this way. This side of the gear is slightly beveled. That side needs to go down like that. Okay. So now that it's down, it's locked. Okay. And your lever would go on like this and turn it. Free spool and engaged. Okay. Well, started working on the gear assembly, but then I realized all of these pieces here, the big planetary gear sets and the small gear, everything rides on the shaft. And unfortunately, what I think I'm going to have to do is build everything kind of stacked. Let me show you what I mean. Stack it on the shaft from the bottom, because this little this gear has to be captured by this little spring clip, and there's on some models, like I said, there's a small gear that replaces this, but this one gets captured here. So I'm going to have to stack all of these parts, all of these parts onto this brake assembly, and then assemble the brake last. So I'm going to do that off camera and bring you back and show you what it looks like. not seated fully, so let me manipulate that a little and I'll come right back. It is assembled. I just put in the 2 mounting screws temporarily. Now we come to this piece, and we're going to work from the back. First, this is what the drum will end up sitting on here. So you can see that, and it goes there. And then one of the rubber seals goes right here. I gotta get that, hold on. Yeah, the 9.5 Ti gets 2 of these, and let's see if we can put them in. It goes something like that. Not too bad. Okay. Maybe we'll put a little bit of grease in that. Okay. All right, so now I gotta put all of this on all of that. Let's see, let's move this a little closer here. Remember, I have the brake assembly still attached. I did end up taking the shoes off, but let's see if we can do this. Actually, before I do that, let me see, there's no other alignment other than the screws. Okay. Okay, and then this, I'll write this, and then the screws are threaded into this housing. So let me do that and I'll bring you back. I only put in 3 screws to hold temporarily because this is the condition of the original screws. I found some stainless, slightly different length, but they should work. There's not a whole lot of thread engagement, so I forgot to cut these, so I'm going to do that later and install them, but I figured if I went through all the trouble, I might as well upgrade the hardware. Now I'm going to work on the motor end. Should be simpler. Famous last words. But so motor has a gasket that it came with, and it came with this packaging bracket that has to be removed. So let me do that. It's 11 millimeter. motor has a little pin to locate with. Actually, let's do motor down. I'll move it over here. I'll put a little bit of grease on here just to hold the gasket in place. I suppose you could use RTV as well, but okay. So here's the little pin. These babies get tightened down. Okay, so now on this side, what do we have? We have gear. This gear set is going to sit in here. And the tip, the small gear, will engage in the in the coupler that gets hooked to the drum. Okay. So that, oh, I forgot. Let's put some grease. Put some grease in there too. And I'll put some grease on the bottom too. I presume that this is a sliding surface. think. Of course, the motor spline isn't gonna turn. There we go. Okay. Okay, now the other drum bushing goes here. Not sure why this one is tighter. It's got some flash on the bottom, so I'm going to trim that and I'll be right back. Okay, I just trimmed the little edge off. Then the second rubber bushing, or rubber seal, goes on the outer edge. Can one of you guys hold that right there? Thanks. Okay. Okay, so now let me take a break and I'll bring you right back. This is where all the expletives come out. So what I thought that I was going to be able to do is this gear section engages on the primary gear here. Well, I forgot that doesn't fit. So I have to build this assembly up with the shaft already coming through here. So I'm going to do that off screen and kick and scream a little bit, and then I'll bring you back. A little bit of swearing, it's back together. Like I said, I had to build the drum or the gear assembly with the drum attached, so aligning those screws at the end was a little bit more difficult. The other portion that you have to be aware of is now you have to build the brake from here, which is not a big deal. It just takes a little bit of small hand work. Not a problem for me, unfortunately. So the brakes in here. The other way you could do it, I suppose, is to build it from the motor side and go from there. So now I'm going to put the two halves together and join them with the bridge. I forgot that in order to put the bridge together, you've got to install the relays and stuff. So I guess we'll do that next. Alright guys, time to do the wiring. One thing to note, and I know this only because I just made this mistake and had to redo pretty much everything, is that the harness for the winch pack here needs to be fed through this hole first, like so. And then fastened. I did all this stuff first, and then I tried to put it on that side, and that is not correct. Okay, so here's the order of the wires. This is a 9.5 Ti winch, so it's a 6-wire controller. Double green goes here. Double brown goes here, and then brown is jumpered to here, and then brown also extends out to the third solenoid. So we've got brown, brown, black, green, brown, brown, black. This single wire, white wire, goes to the positive terminal. This is the positive terminal from your battery. This is the negative terminal from your battery. Then the buses, there's a large bus bar, connector bar that connects this terminal to that one. Then these go not like that, like that, and like this. Then in the back, this large wire goes to the A terminal on your winch. A terminal in the back. This terminal here goes to F1, and son of a bitch. This one goes to F2. Okay, so I'm going to tighten all this up and bring it back so I can use both hands. Okay, so these this section in here are connected. The front cover, I believe, can go on after the bridge is completed, so that you can service your relays without having to take the whole thing apart. Let me just make sure. I think so. Yeah. So it's just connected with these two screws from the side here and here. So we'll do that last. Okay. Now we're going to put the motor side on. Sorry about the view. I don't have much more room on the workbench, but we'll try. So let me bring you over here first. So first, this coupling needs to engage inside the drum onto the brake, and then all of these wires need to be fed through there. Okay, so let me try to do that on camera so you can watch me fail, and then I'll probably do it for real. Don't pull on the drum, because the drum is it can slide off the other side still. I guess you could connect all this. I didn't know that you could, well, you can't build the relays in here. You have to put the relays in first. You could do the wiring, feed all the wires in separately. Which would probably be easier. Okay, I'll one screw in, bling screws, just to hold it together temporarily so I can show you. Like that. So I'm gonna put all this stuff together and try to wire up the motor down here, and then I really want to try it. I want to try the controller. The controller I bought on eBay as a used controller. That is for, I guess it's just these two here. Don't over tighten these, they're going into just an aluminum channel. Okay, I'm going to tighten up the motor wiring, and then I may end up having to reroute A because it won't reach my A terminal. So let me get all this sorted and I'll bring you right back. Okay, let me show you how these wires go, because it took me a few tries to get it all routed correctly. So let's start with the long one. You'll have 3 wires. 2 of them are very close in size, but not quite. So this is the A wire. You follow that along here. That's this. It has to go as far forward, that would be in this direction, as far forward as possible. So let me see if you can see it from here. Okay, that's this wire. Goes to this terminal. Your F1, that's the short one, relatively easy. Up the middle, it's F1. Around here, F1, and then F2. So this one, I kind of feel like it should be shorter. Sorry, this one. I feel like it should be shorter, but maybe not. Let's see, it should go right here, F2. So this terminal here, and then these two are for your power leads, positive and negative. So let me put a nut on that one, screw this one down, and I'll come right back. Wiring everything up and trying the winch. I think that's my problem. I couldn't get anything to work, and when I try to clean these contacts out, they basically just fall apart. So I ordered a new small harness. Unfortunately, it was 70 bucks. But now it's here, and I'll get to rewiring it and hopefully testing it out. Alright, I'll bring you back when to compare the new harness. So I just want to do a quick comparison on between the old harness and the new. There are some differences. First, this is the original, the old one. Looks like we went up a gauge from the old one to the new one. Let's see, we're at 18 gauge, 18 gauge on the new one, and we are let's see, can you read that? 18 gauge on the old one still, but we went with multi-strand versus single insulation's thicker. The other thing to note, color change. So where there was brown, or sorry, previously they used red as ground, which seems pretty weird. So that's now standard black motor. So I'm going to wire this up. Try again. Also, it came with a nice instruction manual, and here are all of the wiring locations. So I'll follow that and see where we end up. Alright guys, so I have not tried this, but I think I'm ready. So let's review the new harness wiring situation. So none of the buses have changed and none of the large wires have changed. New harness, we've got red going to the positive terminal here. That's basically power to the controller. And then we've got the first solenoid connection is green, and then we go here brown, brown, white, green, brown, sorry, brown, brown, and then the last one is white. There are no black wires on this harness. They've been replaced by the white wires. Okay, then here we've got the thermometric portion of the controller, and then down here we've got the ground. So here's the new plug. It looks clean. Here's the eBay used controller. So plug that in. Make sure. Hold on a second. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up my battery pack. Ground we'll put here, and since I can't get to my positive terminal, let's use something like this. Make sure it's not touching anything else. I think we're okay. Watch it let all the smoke out. All right. 12 volt is applied. I think it works. I think I might need to adjust the brake tension, but I will try that. Now I think I don't have the sticker for this. I'm going to try to find one. But I think this position is that the engaged position? I don't know. I don't like to run it if it's the wrong way, but I don't know if that's engaged or disengaged. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. But wiring done. Happy about that. Phew, that's a big relief. So to summarize, I ended up having to get a new motor. I think that is my fault. If anybody's interested to see the process of me trying to reassemble this and screwing it up a bunch of times, let me know. I don't plan on posting it until or unless you want to see it, just because it's boring and it's me trying it 9 or 10 different times. Next step for this is button everything up, put the cover on, make sure all the fasteners are nice and tight, double check and see if I can find some stickers, and hopefully I'll put it under some sort of load and hopefully verify that the brake does not need to be adjusted. That would not be a lot of fun. You have to take the whole thing apart, at least this side. So anyway, that's it. I'm gonna pause here, but I am gonna just put everything together and finalize the video, because frankly I'm tired of working on this thing. So I'll put everything together and then we'll see how it looks at the very end. Well, I think it's finally the end of the road. So let me show you where we are so far. I got some stickers direct from Warren. The clutch engage and disengage. Unfortunately, they don't make, or I could not find anywhere, 9.5 TI stickers. So I ended up with CTI stickers. And I know it's not the same winch, but it's pretty close, and C in the CTI adds at least 50 horsepower. So but anyway, everything is wired up nicely. I wired the positive lead in here just so I could run it. Negative goes down to the ground. I also wanted to show you, for these style of winches, the bridge ones, I always connect the bottom base with the original screws, or the mounts like this, because there's no there's no structure here. There's no support without the mounting base. So all the load while you're moving things around is you know, all the load is transferred to this aluminum housing here, and these 4 screws that are just screwed into the aluminum. So that's not, they strip out very easily in my experience. It happened on my old HS winch, and I'd like to prevent that as much as I can. So let's see. Oh, there's one thing missing. Yeah, one last very important thing missing. Hold on a second. No, that's better. Let me set you up with one last run. I'm going to get some synthetic cable for this. But first, let's run it just for fun. On. Sounds okay without a load and without it being attached to anything. Sounds good to me. So that's it. It took me a long time, but it's done. If you guys want to see the video or the remnants of the video of me trying to fool around with the motor, the original motor, let me know. I might post that separately. I might try to resurrect it, but I think as far as the winch project is concerned, I am finished. So let me know if you have any questions, and have a good night.